Wanted to get into an RPG, but don't know where to start? Let's run through some pre-made content and see if it sounds right for you. Lost Mine of Phandelver is the first adventure module made for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It spans from level 1 to level 5 over the course of 4 parts. Lost Mine was included in the 5th edition starter set. In the Forgotten Realms, along the Sword Coast, lies the city of Neverwinter. There, a dwarf gives you a simple mission to deliver some supplies to the small town of Phandelver. Along the way, you run into some goblin trouble, before discovering there's a lot more trouble surrounding this town than expected. Despite 5th edition's popularity, its published adventures tend to be overlooked or unpopular. But Lost Mine is usually people's introduction to the system and the setting. As far as reintroductions go, Lost Mine is alright. It's not really an intro into the setting, as only a single text box takes place in Neverwinter, and the rest is a straight shot to Phandelver and its surrounds. As far as an intro to the system, it does that better. There is a steady progression from goblins to bandits and a cave of spooky monsters. It doesn't get super crazy like Runelords does, but it doesn't have to, as it's a very short adventure. Phandelver is decently characterised and has enough going on to have the party want to save it. The part focuses are travelling to Phandelver and fighting goblins in a cave, exploring Phandelver and learning about the local gang of bandits, exploring the region around Phandelver, searching for the Lost Mine and a castle full of orcs, and heading into a dungeon to clear out the monsters and the local wizard that's been causing havoc. While Part 2 does set up Part 3 and 4 a little bit, they're primarily separate events. This is a pretty good system taster. You can do some light dungeon combat, roleplay in town, and some exploration without having too much expected. A relatively comfy town to get invested in and involved in. The adventure is very limited in scope. It's very low stakes, and the villain is really only a threat to this one town for now. This isn't always a bad thing, but I found players be a bit disappointed that you never go beyond fighting a wizard in a cave. The combat is strange. It's usually either way too easy or way too hard. It never really feels like there's an adequately challenging fight. But this was the starter set, and was probably not intended to be particularly tough, and 5th edition characters are very difficult to kill. Check out Dragon of Icespire Peak. It takes place nearby, and was another starter set adventure with a bit more thought put into it. It might be worth combining them for a bit more of a varied adventure. Honestly, just feel it, just see how your group responds. This is a very small adventure, and it's very tight. There's not too much to be added or removed. If your group doesn't get along with it, try something else next time. Lost Mine can be a little bit dull in places, and not super interesting overall, but it's a simple adventure, and it does what it tries to do relatively well. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.